Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav and today we are going to learn how to create a Appium automation framework from scratch, and here we are going to use Eclipse, Java, Maven and TestNG, and this is going to be very easy and very interesting. And do not worry if you have not done any kind of automation framework in Appium before. I will teach you from scratch, and you can follow this video on Windows as well as on a Mac operating system. And this is what we are going to do. So we are going to create a Java Maven project in Eclipse. We will add all the required dependencies. We will then create classes and functions, and we will add the desired capabilities. We will set up our mobile device and the Appium server, and then we will create our test and run our test. So this is what we are going to do. And step number one will be we have to open Eclipse. So I'm not covering the part of installing and setting up Eclipse. Just in case you are starting from very scratch and you do not even have Eclipse or any Java IDE, you can go to my website automation step by step and go to online courses, and here if you go down you will get a course on Java, and if you go here it will take you to this YouTube playlist, and here you can find all these things: how to install and set up Java on Windows, on Mac, getting started with Eclipse. So you can watch this in case you do not have Eclipse. And in fact there are some prerequisites that I should mention here. So these are the prerequisites: you should have Java JDK installed, and to check that you can go to your command line or terminal. I'm on Mac as of now, so I will go to terminal. You can go to your command line in case of Windows and just say Java space hyphen version, and it should show you your Java version. In case you are on Windows, you can do the same thing. Go to your command line and just say Java space hyphen version, and this will show you your Java version. And you can also say Java C space hyphen version. This will show you the Java compiler version. However, if you are not getting any response for this command Java C, that is fine. And in case Java is not set up or not installed, you can always watch these tutorials, and let me also provide the link in the notes. All these notes will be available to you. So this is what you can do in case you have any issues with Java or Eclipse. And then Appium should also be installed, and Android SDK is set up for testing on Android devices, and Xcode in case of iOS. And this I have already covered earlier. So again, if you go to the Appium series, the Appium playlist, here we have done all these things: how to install Appium on Windows, how to install Appium on Mac OS, how to get ready and connect to a real Android device, and then iOS device also you will find here. So all this you will find here. Let me also copy this link and make it available here. So these are all the links. I will just keep it here. This is for Java, and this one is for mobile and Appium, and for Eclipse as well. You can just check the same playlist here. So once you have all this and you are ready with the prerequisite, the first step is open Eclipse. So I will just go to my Eclipse. Eclipse is open here, and here you can see some of the earlier projects we did in Appium, but I'm going to create a new fresh project. So I will expand this, and yes, first is open Eclipse, and then step number 2 is we have to install TestNG in Eclipse. So we need to install TestNG plugin, and again this is you can take it as a prerequisite because this also I have covered in a separate video. So if I just show you here, let me just check if I have covered this here. It's not here. I have this somewhere here. Yes, if you go to the tools, you should find a video on installing TestNG on Eclipse, and I'll just check, and yes, how to add TestNG plugin in Eclipse. This is the video. I will again copy the link and provide you in the notes so that it is very easy for you to refer this. And you can just get TestNG from here, and then once you have TestNG, Step number 3 will be create a new Maven project. So I will now go to my Eclipse, and here I will go to File, and I will go to New, and this will be same in Windows as well. If you are following this on Windows, you can just go to your File, New, and go to Other, and here you can start typing Maven, and you will get a option for Maven project. Now in case you are not getting this option, you may want to check your Eclipse version. In some older versions we did not had this option of Maven project, but on in all the latest and recent versions it is there. So I will just select this Maven project and say next, and here I will just say I want to create a simple project, and here I will just select this working set. You do not have to do this. This is just because I have some projects in this working set, and this working set is already set up. So this is something optional. You can just skip this. Just select create a simple project and next, and give some group ID. So I will say com.appium.demo, and I will say appium demo project, and that's it. Say finish, and you should get your project here. So you can see I have my Appium demo project here, and then if you expand this project you should see all these folders. Now you can also find a little difference in what you are seeing here, so that may be if you are on a package explorer or a project explorer, so the view is a little different. So if I just search for project explorer, here you can see we have project explorer as well. So if I select this view, you can see I'm getting this kind of a view. So if I expand my Appium demo project, I can find all this here, and then in the package explorer I will see this kind of a view. So that is fine, you can go with anyone. I usually prefer package explorer view. So this is now done, and we have created a Maven project. Now the next step is, step number 4 is add required libraries, or in case of Maven we call it as dependencies. So we will add the Maven dependencies, and we need 3 dependencies. One is Appium Java client, then we need Selenium Java libraries, and then we need TestNG. So in case you have installed TestNG here in this step, you can also restart your Eclipse, and that is already explained in this video. So we need these 3 dependencies. So here these are the 3 dependencies we need, and I'll just highlight this. So if you go to your project, you will find a pom.xml file here, and this is where we add our dependencies. So you can see this is the pom.xml file, and here I will go to Google, and I will go to Maven repository. So just go to Maven repository on Google, and you will get this link, mavenrepository.com. I will go here, and here I will just search for Appium Java client, and you can see this is the io.appium. This is the Java client we need. So click here, and here you can see all the versions. The latest one is 7.0.0 as of now. You can get whatever is the latest and stable version at your time. I will click here, and here I have got the dependency. I will click here, and it is copied, and I will go back to my pom.xml. Now here in your pom.xml you have to create a dependency tag. So just go before this project end tag, so wherever this project end tag is ending, and say dependencies. If I press control spacebar on my keyboard, I should get some options. So let me check. Yeah, I'm getting this autocomplete dependencies. Click here. So this is a dependencies start tag and an end tag. I'll just increase the font. Yes, and inside these dependencies tag we have to add all our dependencies. So this is what I have added for Appium, and now I will go back and search for Selenium Java, and this is Selenium Java, and again I will get the latest and stable version from here. So if you see, this is alpha, so the latest and stable version is 3.141. You can get whatever is latest at your time. And I will again copy this and go back to my pom.xml and paste it. And the third one we need is TestNG. So I will again search for TestNG, and it is here, org.testng, and again I will take the latest stable version. So version 7 is available, but it's beta, so I will go for 6.14.3 is what I am taking. Copy and paste it here. So you can see this is how my pom.xml looks like now. And to change or to make the indentation correct, I will just select everything by pressing Command A if you are on Mac, or you can press Control plus A on your keyboard on Windows, and then I will press Command I on Mac. On Windows you can say Control plus I, and this indentation will be all corrected. So, and I will now save this. So as you save, you will see it will start downloading all the dependencies. So you can see it is now downloading. So you can save, and then you can go to your project menu and say clean and build. So this is cleaning and it will build automatically. So I will say clean and build, and after this step you should see all your Maven dependencies here. So if you go to your Maven dependencies folder and expand this, you will see all these libraries are here, whatever we have got from Maven repository. And that is the main advantage of using Maven. You do not have to manually manage your libraries. You just have everything here. Even if you take this project to any other system, you just have to save and clean it once and build it once, and it will take care of everything. So this is, we have done step number 4, and step number 5 was we have done save, clean and build project. We have already done this. Now step number 6 is create 2 folders under src test java, and these 2 folders name will be tests and pages. So we have to create these 2 folders. I will highlight it with a different color, and yes, so if you go to your project you will find this src test java. Now again, if you are on a project explorer, you might see a different view like a nested view, but that is fine. You just have to go under src and then under test and then under java, do a right click and say new, and I will create a new folder, and I will name this as tests, and then again a new folder, and I will name this as pages. So we have got these 2 folders created here. Now, so see here the reason we have created it, we will put all our test cases or all the test scripts under test folder, and then when we are doing page object model and when we are identifying all the objects, we can put all the objects under pages. This is something similar like we have done for Selenium. So now step number 7 is we have to create another folder. So under src test resources, create a folder called apps, and here we'll keep all the application files. So application files are like .apk files in case of Android, and in case of iOS it can be .ipa or .app files. And this we have seen when I was showing you a calculator application and then on an iOS automation as well. So these are the files that we will need. So this is what we need to create. So here I will just highlight this as well. We need to create a new folder apps. So if you see here, we have src test resources. Under this, I will do a right click, new folder, and I will say apps and say finish. So going forward, whenever we are doing automation on any mobile native application, we will put all the application files, whether it is a .apk file for Android or .ip or .app file, under this folder. So we have done step number 7. Now inside test folder, create a class which will be a base class. So now if you, this is step number 8. If you go inside the test folder, do a right click, new class, and here I can name it anything. I will just name it as base class. So here where I will put all the desired capabilities and also instantiate my web driver. So you can name it anything. I'm just naming it as base class, and here I'll just say finish. So you can see the class here. Let me increase the font. So I'm pressing command and plus on my keyboard on Mac. On Windows you can press control and plus to increase the font. So this is the base class here, and now I will create some setup and tear down functions. So I will say public void setup. I'm just creating a function here, and I will create a tear down function, public void tear down. So everything that I want to run before a test I will put here, anything I want to run after a test I will put here, and I also have to annotate it with TestNG annotations. So I have to say at before test, and here if I hover over this you can see I am getting a option. If I hover over this, I get this option to import it from org TestNG annotation. Now make sure that you always get it from org TestNG annotation. So if I say before test and hover over this, this is from org TestNG annotations. So select that. Now the reason I am showing you this is because sometimes it will happen that the same annotation might get imported from JUnit or from some other library, but you have to make sure that it is coming from org testng.annotation. So this is testng annotations, and similarly this I will annotate with after test, and similarly this should also come from org testng annotations. So we have created these two functions, and this is our step number 9, which is create setup and tear down functions and also annotate with TestNG annotations. Now once we have done this, step number 10 is we have to add code for desired capabilities. And we have already learned in our earlier session, desired capabilities is a set of key value pairs that we set into our code to tell the platform version, Android version, or iOS version, and all those things. So we have done this already. You can watch earlier sessions in case you have any doubts here. So now in the before test or setup, I will create desired capabilities. So I can just say here desired capabilities. This is a class, and I can give any variable caps equals new desired capability, and if I press control spacebar I am getting this auto completion, auto suggestion, and I will select this, and you can see it is being imported from here org openqa selenium remote desired capabilities, and this is the variable. So using this I can now set the desired capabilities. I can say caps dot set capability, and I have to give a key which is a capability name and its value here. So here let us say I will say here I want to do automation now on an Android device. I will also show you on iOS, but for now let us say platform name and it is equals to Android. And then now you can also do something like this, caps dot set capability, and here instead of giving the key or the capability name as a string, I can also say capability type. So you can see this is a interface which is already there, and I will use this capability type dot, and I can say platform name, and then I can give the value Android here. So both of this will work. In fact, you can also say caps dot set capability, and in case of capability name I will say mobile capability type, and this is again you can see an interface dot platform name, and I will say again the value is Android. So these are different ways. All of these will work. So do not get confused whenever you see a string and value like this, or something like capability type dot platform name, or mobile capability type dot platform name, or whatever is the capability name. All of this will work. So do not get confused if you see this kind of a code anywhere. And if you see here, if I just press Control or Command on my keyboard and hover over this capability type and click this, it will take me to this interface. So you can see here all of this are already added, all these capabilities name are already added. And similarly, if I go to mobile capability type and press Command or Control on my keyboard and click, it will take me to this, and it is also an interface which extends capability type. So this is again a mobile capability type that extend capability type, and it has some more capabilities specific to mobile devices, and you can use any of these. And one good thing here is using capability type or mobile capability type is you do not have to remember the capability type name. It will directly, you can just say dot and it will be shown. So for now I am just going to use, I will comment these two, and I'm just going to use this capability type here. So I'm going to use this, and the other capabilities are caps dot set capability, and I will say again capability type. Now here I have to say platform version. So here you can see this is capability type. Let me say we have a version. Yes, we have version. This should be platform version, but I think version should also work. Now here you will give your Android version, and then again caps dot set capability type dot, do we have device name? We do not have, so I can always say mobile capability type. Yeah, we have device name here, and if I see this, I should have the, yeah, platform version is there in mobile capability type. So anyone will work, and you can also use like in mix and match of capability, mobile capability, or just a string, anything should work. And here I have to give the device name, and then I should also have, so I will say mobile capability type dot UDID, and this is the device ID. And let me just keep it consistent, and I'm using mobile capability type everywhere. And then I can also say caps dot set capability, and then we have something called as, if I say mobile capability type and new command timeout, this is again a capability, and I'm putting a value of 60 seconds. So if I go here new command timeout, if I go under mobile capability and check for timeout, you can see this is the new command timeout, and how long in seconds Appium will wait for a new command from the client before assuming the client quit and ending session. So this is good to add. And now after this, if you are doing your automation on a native application, in that case you will say app, and then give the absolute path of your APK or your IPA or app file. So if you place your files here, if you place your files under your apps folder, you can get the absolute path and give your file name here. And if you are doing on browser, so you can say, if you are doing automation on a browser application, you can just say, I will say mobile capability type dot browser name. So you can see browser name and version, these are the two capabilities present. So I will say browser name, and here you can give the name of the browser. So for example I will say Chrome. In case of iOS, you can also say Safari. Now I will just comment out this apps because as of now I am doing on browser. In the later session I will also show you how to do it on a native application. So we have platform name, platform version, device name, UDID, and then we have new command timeout and the browser name. So these are the capabilities we need to set. And now to get the platform version, which is the Android version of your device, and the device name and the UDID, you can actually go and connect your mobile device, or in case you want to use an emulator, you can make your emulator ready. And as of now I am connecting my mobile device with my system with the help of a USB cable. So now I have just connected it, and let me try to show you. If I go to Visor, so Visor is a program that can help me to see the mobile screen on my desktop. So here, as of now it has not come. I will go to my terminal and I will say ADB devices, and it should show me the device connected, and yes, you can see this is connected. Also I can see the device here with the help of Visor. So you can see this is here, this is starting up here. This is a real mobile device, Android device, which is connected to my laptop with the help of a USB cable, and when I run ADB devices I am getting the device ID. Now this we have already covered earlier. Just in case you are finding any issue in connecting the device or getting the device ID using ADB devices, you can again go to the Appium playlist, and here I have shown you how to connect real Android device on Windows as well as on Mac. So you can watch this just in case you have any issues. And now we have got the device ID. So I will copy this device ID from here, and in the place of UDID I will put my device ID, and the device name I can get from my device. I will go to settings, and if I go to about phone, I will just use this name Micromax HS2, and the Android version it is 7.1.2. So I will say device name is Micromax HS2 and Android version or platform version is 7.1.2. Okay, so this is how the desired capabilities now look like, and we have done this now. So if I go and check, we have added the code for desired capabilities, and now also I have to say attach mobile device, or in case you are using emulator you have to make emulator ready, or I should say or make emulator ready. And to get the IDs you have to run the command adb devices get ID and platform version and add in desired capabilities. So this is the command. So we have done until step number 11. So now once you have done this, you can actually test if it is able to connect to your device and run this. So for that I have to start the Appium server. So I will say start Appium server. Now Appium server you can start in two ways. You can just go to your command line and say Appium and it will start the Appium server. This will happen, this will be the same both in Windows and Mac. If you are on Windows you can also just go to Appium, go to command line and say Appium and enter, and we have already learned that earlier. Or you can also go to the Appium desktop. So you can go to Appium desktop client and also start it from here. So both ways will work, or you can just start it from the command line. So this is started on Windows, and if I see on Mac, here it is taking some time. Let me just check. So again on Mac you can do anything. You can do like start from the Appium desktop client or just start from the command line, and it looks like it is started here as well, and it is 4723. Now I also have to give this URL where the Appium is started, and for that I have to give the URL where it is started. So for that I will say I will just take the code. So I'm just taking the code from my earlier uh, scripts that we created earlier. So if I see here, I had created a calculator test in our earlier sessions. We have done this, and here if you see, so see, this is again app package, and app activity is something that you can get in case you are working with a native app, and this we have learned earlier. So this is what I need. I will just copy this and go back to my base class, and I will use this. Make sure you save your project. So here it is showing me an error. It is saying add a throws declaration or surround with try catch. Now you can add a throws declaration. If I say add throws, you can see it is throwing a exception here. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to surround my code with try catch, which is more which will help me during troubleshooting. So I will say try and a curly brace, and at the end I will end the curly bracket and I will say catch, and I will say catch any exception here in the variable exp, and then again in curly braces I will say in case there is any exception, it will come to this catch block, and then I will say the cause is, and I will say exp dot get cause, and then I will say syso control space bar to autocomplete, and I will say message is exp dot get message, and finally I will say exp dot print stack trace. So in case there will be any exception, it will come here and all this will get printed, and this will be very handy for troubleshooting. So this is done, and now again I will go and see this is, I have to give a driver. So for that I have to say, now I will go to the top, and inside the class I will create a class variable web driver, or I can use an Appium driver. So what I have used here is a Appium driver, so I can use this Appium driver here. I will go to my base class, and at the class level I am creating an Appium driver, and here I will say driver equals new Appium driver, and I have to give the URL and the capabilities. So this is how you give the URL and the capabilities. So here you can see the URL, which is the Appium server URL, is stored in URL. So I will say URL here, and then the caps capabilities are stored in the caps variable. So I will say caps, and at the end a semicolon, and this is done. Now here you can also say driver equals new Android driver, and use the same thing, URL and caps, or you can also say driver equals new iOS driver, and use URL and caps. Now here what is the difference is, Appium driver is like a parent class for both Android driver and iOS driver, and it has all the actions that you want to take on a mobile device. However, there are Android driver extends Appium driver, and it has some actions specific to an Android device. Similarly, iOS driver extends Appium driver, and it has some actions or functions specific for a iOS device. So if I press Control or Command and click on Android driver, you can see it will take us here. This is the Android driver class, and you can see this here. If I go here, this is Android driver, and again if I go to iOS driver, you can see this is the iOS driver. Okay, so you can use any of these, or you can just go with Appium driver. So if I go to Appium driver, you can see this is Appium driver, and if I just search for Appium driver Java docs, so this is some useful information that you should know why we are using this. So this is the Java doc for Appium driver. Yeah, this is the Java doc page. So let me just show you here. So see, this is the Java doc, and these are the subclasses: Android driver, iOS driver, and Windows driver. So with Appium we can also do automation on Windows desktop, so that is the Windows driver here, and you can see the same thing here as well. This is the Appium driver, and this is Android driver, iOS driver, and your engine driver, which is the Windows driver. And if I go to any of these like Android driver, here you can see this is extends from, this is a subclass from the Appium driver, and similarly iOS. So here we are just going to use the Appium driver, which is fine for us now. Save your project and make sure your device is ready and make sure Appium is running. So in my case, you can see my device here. My device is here and Appium server is running here. And this is my code. So let me just show you everything. And now I will say right click, run as. Now here I am not getting any run configurations. So for that I can just say I will create a test. I will just create a dummy test. I will say public void sample test. Ideally, I will be creating test in a separate folder, which is in a separate class inside the test folder. But for now, just for this check, I am just saying I am inside sample test and save. And I have to give the annotation test here, and this should come from org TestNG annotations. And now if I say right click, run as, you can see now I'm getting TestNG test option. So I will say right click, run as TestNG test, and now I should see this running. Appium server is already running, and this should run test or open browser on this mobile device. So let us just wait. You can see we are getting logs on the Appium server, and if everything is fine, all desired capabilities are fine, it should start the Chrome browser on the mobile device. And yes, looks like it is going, and yes, it has started the Chrome browser. Of course, because we have not given any action after that, so it is not doing anything. It has just started the Chrome browser. And if you go to the console, you can see I am inside sample test and everything is pass. And you will also find at this moment, if you refresh your project, right click and refresh, you should see a test output folder here. And if you expand the test output folder, you should have some reports, JUnit reports, and then some HTML reports. So if I go to index.html, I should see an HTML report here, and then an emailable report as well. You can also open this in a browser. So these are all browser reports, and this is working fine. So until now, we have been able to set up our desired capabilities in the base class, set up our mobile device and the Appium server, and we have successfully ran our test. Now, until here, if you get any error in the console, make sure check what is your error, and then you can always copy your error, go to Google and search for it, and you will find the solution. So do not worry in case you are getting any error. If you are still not able to resolve any errors, you can put them down in the comment section below and I will try to help you. And until now we have done these steps. So we have started the Appium server, and then we have also done a run and test. So we have done run and test. Now step number 14 will be add test class and extend the base class. So now we have to start creating our test cases. So inside our test folder, I will do a right click, new, and class, and I will say this is uh, tests, or you can name it anything. I'm just naming it tests and say finish. And this is where I will create my test cases. So here, first thing is I have to extend base class. So I will say extends base class. So whatever is the name of your base class, so in my case I have just named it as base class. So I'm saying here extends base class. Now this we are doing so that we get the driver instance and everything from the base class. Now inside this I can start creating my test cases. So I will say public void, I will say this is test1, and here I can just say driver dot get, and I want to go to https google.com, and then if I go here google.com, you can see this is the search box. If I right click and say inspect and look at the properties, so you can see we have a property called name, and name is equals to q. So I can say driver dot find element by dot name, and the name is q, and then I want to dot send keys, whatever you want to send. Let us say automation, I want to write automation, and then I want to say driver dot find element by, I am again going to the same search box, and here I'm saying send keys, and I want to say keys dot enter. So that means I just want to press the enter key. So after typing automation, I want to press the enter key, and you can see it is getting imported from org.openqa.selenium.keys. And then I will say uh, I will, after this I'll just say control spacebar to autocomplete, and I will say completed test1. That's it. And here I will also put an annotation test here. So this is a TestNG test. So I will say import org TestNG annotations. So this is coming from org TestNG annotations. And here, let me see, there is some error. It is saying uh, void is an invalid type. What did I do wrong here? So I have just said here public void test1, and it is saying what is an invalid type for the variable test1. Do I need to change something here? Let me just troubleshoot this. It is not allowing me to put void here. This is anyways a function. So I will save this, and I will say public void test1. This is a function, and yeah, this is fine. So I don't know why it was okay. This was my mistake. I did not put these brackets. Okay, so this is important. In a function we put these brackets, so this is important, and now this should be fine. Public void test1, this is fine. And then in the base class, in the tear down, I will close the driver browser. So I will say driver dot close and driver dot quit, and now I can again do a right click, run as TestNG test, and let us see now what happens. So you can see our Appium server here. This is running. We can see the logs, and this is our mobile device. We should see the test here. It should open the Chrome browser and go to Google, put automation, and then close it. And yes, it is going. And yes, it is typing automation, enter, and then it should close the browser. And yes, this is working fine. Everything is done. This is fine. We are getting the, on the console, we are getting test1 completed. Everything is passed. There was a single test case that got passed, and you can see the reports here in the, if I refresh and go to the test output, I should get the all the reports here. So you can see one method pass, and you can see test1 is pass. This is test1, and then if I go to the email report, I can also see all this is pass. So Now I can keep on creating my tests here. So for example, I can create a new test. I will just copy this and paste it again, and this I will say is a test 2. And here again I can put anything here and run this. So I will again run this and see what happens this time. Now I have 2 test cases. So if I check now, so this is running the Appium server. We are getting the logs here. And in the coming sessions, I will also show you how to do it on iOS. And it is test 1 is running fine. And it has searched for automation. And now it should close it. I will also show you how to do on Android and iOS both on a in a single framework. This I will show you in the next video or the next coming sessions, and I will also show you how to create automation test on a native mobile application. So this is done, and this actually should be test 2, and this is done. Now if I go to the base class, in case you are facing some issue like it is closing the browser, and here because we are getting driver.get again, but if I do not say driver.get again and I want to use the same browser, then you can just go to your base class, and instead of after test you can say this is after suite, so that it does not close the browser after every test, because at this with after test it will close with every test after every test, and then you have to create or open a new browser for every test. But you can do like this as well, and this will work fine. And if I go back to our notes, step number 14 we have done. Step number 15 is create some more sample tests, and step number 16 is run and test. So this is what you will do, and I hope all this was very easy and very straightforward. In the coming session I will show you how to do more browser testing, and then how to do testing on iOS, and then how to do testing on native iOS and Android devices. So I hope all this was very useful. Please hit the like button, and also do subscribe to get more videos on automation testing, DevOps and CI, and I will meet you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.